Hey everyone, today I want to share a tough story about a wife who wanted to try an open relationship but now wishes she hadn't. Hi everyone, I never thought I'd be reaching out to strangers online for help, but here I am. My wife and I have been together for 10 years, married for 8. We met in college and we were each other's first and only partners. I thought our relationship was special because of that, but turns out I was the only one who felt that way. A while ago, my wife started a new job and struggled to fit in at first since she's always been shy. But she made friends with a group of girls, some of whom were single or not married. I was glad she found friends, but then she started going out with them a lot, partying and stuff. It worried me because it was unlike her, but I didn't want to hold her back. Her going out all the time started affecting our intimacy. She wasn't as interested in being close anymore, either too tired or not in the mood. Then she started talking about her new manager at work, praising him for things that didn't seem work-related. I asked her about it, but she brushed it off. She even brought up open marriages, saying it could spice up our relationship. I was shocked because she's never been that kind of person, and I didn't feel comfortable with it. But she said she felt like she missed out and didn't want to lose me, so I agreed reluctantly. We set some rules like not bringing other people to our home. For a year she went on dates and had one-night stands, while I had a few dates but didn't feel right about one-night stands. Then, unsurprisingly, she ended up in a relationship with her manager. I realized I wasn't okay with it, but she kept asking if I was fine. Now I'm stuck wondering if I made a mistake by agreeing to this open relationship. It's been tough. I never imagined being in this situation. Seeing my wife drift away into a relationship with someone else has been heartbreaking. I've tried to talk to her about it, but she seems so caught up in this new world she's found. And I can't help but feel like I'm losing her. I've been questioning everything. Was I too lenient? Should I have put my foot down when she first brought up the idea of an open relationship? But then, would she have just gone behind my back? I don't know what the right answer is. I miss the intimacy we used to have, the way we were so connected, so in tune with each other. Now it feels like we're drifting apart, and I don't know how to stop it. I never thought I'd be seeking advice from strangers on the internet, but here I am. I just don't know what to do anymore. How do I navigate this mess of emotions and uncertainty? Any guidance would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening. I started noticing a change in my wife's behavior. It seemed like the pure and innocent love we shared in our marriage was slipping away. It hurt me deeply. Eventually, I went on a date with a wonderful woman from South Korea. Our conversations flowed effortlessly, and her smile could brighten anyone's day. We ended up being intimate, and it was unlike anything I'd experienced before. She made me feel desired in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. At first, my wife found it cute, but as time passed, she began questioning my relationship with this new woman. I reminded her that she was the one who suggested we open our marriage, especially since she was involved with her manager. She didn't say much in response, but her actions changed. She started coming home early to cook dinner and clean the house. She even began surprising me at work with lunch and initiated intimacy in the bedroom. But deep down, something had changed between us. I could sense it, and I think she did too. I asked her what prompted this sudden change in her behavior, but her answer surprised me. She said she wanted to show me that she loved me and was happy with me. I couldn't help but laugh because it felt ironic considering her previous actions with her friends and her manager. The next day, she approached me and confessed that she wanted to close our marriage. She admitted that the whole experience was a mistake and that she regretted everything. She wanted us to focus on our relationship again. I asked her to be honest with me and tell me what had led her to suggest opening our marriage in the first place. You wouldn't believe it, but it was my wife's group of friends who planted the idea of an open relationship in her head. They had lots of sexual experiences and thought it was cool. Then her manager came into the picture and surprisingly supported the idea, saying she should live freely. It turned into an emotional affair, but they only got physical once we opened our marriage. It's crazy to think that somehow makes it better. My wife described it like being drunk driving a speeding car, exciting but dangerous. Now she sees it was a big mistake. She realizes she didn't need to compare our relationship to others. What we had was special. She feels like she's destroyed our marriage and any chance of a future together. When I told her I might never see her as my wife again, she broke down in tears. I held her until she fell asleep in my arms. She quit her job and cut off contact with her friends and manager. She's desperate to make things right, but I'm still in touch with my lover. She makes me feel strong and confident, something my wife hasn't done in a while. I'm torn about what to do. We have our first marriage counselling session soon. I'm not sure how it'll go, but the therapist seems nice and experienced. My wife opened up about feeling like she missed out on experiences because she was with me since college. Her friends pushed her to explore and see where things with her manager would go, but now she regrets it all. She sees how much it's hurt me. At first she thought I'd get used to the idea since I went on dates too, but everything changed when my lover became a big part of my life. She noticed how happy I seemed, and it made her feel terrible. She's grappling with the guilt of her actions and wishes she hadn't gone down this path. She never realized how much it would hurt until she saw the change in me. Now she's hoping we can fix things, but I'm not sure if I can get past this betrayal. It's tough. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a storm, not sure which way to turn. On one hand, I still love my wife and want to believe we can overcome this. But on the other hand, I can't deny the connection I feel with my lover. She's brought excitement and passion back into my life in a way I hadn't felt in years. But I can't ignore the pain my wife's actions have caused. It's like a wound that won't heal, no matter how much time passes. I can see she's genuinely remorseful, but I don't know if that's enough to rebuild what we once had. Our counselling session is looming, and I'm filled with a mix of hope and apprehension. Will it bring us closer together or push us further apart? The therapist seems understanding, but will she be able to help us navigate this mess? My wife's confession about her friend's influence and her own insecurities has shed some light on why she made the choices she did. It doesn't excuse her behavior, but it helps me understand where she's coming from. I can see now that she was struggling with her own feelings of inadequacy and fear of missing out. But understanding doesn't erase the hurt. It doesn't make the betrayal any easier to bear. And it certainly doesn't make the decision ahead of me any clearer. I wish I had a crystal ball to see into the future, to know which path will lead to happiness and healing. But life doesn't work like that. All I can do is take it one step at a time, guided by my heart and guided by the advice of those who care about us. I hope our counselling session will provide some clarity, some direction. But until then, I'm left grappling with the weight of my emotions and the uncertainty of what lies ahead. My wife began having panic attacks out of the blue. She turned to her friends for advice, but they brushed it off, saying it was normal during our open relationship adventure. But when the same friend who suggested the open relationship noticed how happy I seemed with my lover, it hit my wife hard. She realized that another woman was bringing me joy, not her. It was a wake-up call for her, and she saw how toxic her friends were to our marriage. She begged them to help her win me back, but they just questioned why she opened our marriage if she couldn't handle it. She realized then that she needed to cut ties with them and focus on winning me back. I didn't share much during counselling, but I did mention my relationship with my lover. The counsellor said we couldn't find a solution with her still in the picture and suggested we have another session soon. She seemed to believe that any storm could be weathered, and she wanted us to be one of her success stories. I haven't figured out how to link posts, but I want to thank everyone for their support. It's been like an episode of Jerry Springer. I've moved into an apartment owned by my brother, which he offered me for a cheap price. I refused to stay for free. During our second counselling session, I asked my wife some tough questions that Redditors had suggested. First, I asked if anything physical happened before we opened our marriage. She hesitated, but eventually admitted they touched themselves in front of each other. She thought it wasn't cheating because it wasn't technically physical. I was shocked, and even the counsellor was surprised. My wife broke down, apologising and begging for forgiveness. She hugged my legs, saying how sorry she was. It was a lot to take in. Then, I asked her what changed her view of her manager. She said his behaviour towards her changed after she distanced herself from her friends. One day, she overheard him bragging about her to a colleague, saying she was easy to get and a pleasant distraction. It made her see him in a new light. These revelations shook me to the core, but I'm grateful for the counselling sessions. They're helping us confront the truth and work towards healing our marriage. Moving into my brother's apartment has given me some space to think. I've been reflecting on our relationship and where things went wrong. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, but I'm determined to do whatever it takes to make things right. As for my wife, she's been doing everything she can to show me how much she regrets her actions. She's been cooking my favourite meals, leaving little notes around the apartment, and just being there for me when I need her. It's a stark contrast to how things were before, and I can see she's really trying to change. But despite her efforts, I can't shake the feeling of betrayal. Trust is a fragile thing, and it's going to take time to rebuild it. I want to believe we can overcome this obstacle, but part of me wonders if things will ever be the same again. Our next counselling session is coming up, and I'm hopeful that it will bring us closer together. The counsellor has been incredibly supportive, and I trust her guidance as we navigate this difficult journey. In the meantime, I'm trying to focus on the positives and take things one day at a time. It's not easy, but I'm determined to fight for our marriage and the love we once shared. I stumbled upon his fiancée's Facebook profile out of curiosity. She appeared to be the quintessential small-town girl, a special needs teacher, a homebody, and deeply committed to her family. It struck me as perplexing why someone like him would stray when he had such a gem waiting for him at home. The contrast between his actions and her seemingly wholesome character was stark, leaving me puzzled about the dynamics of their relationship. The former friend reached out to me, seeking my version of events to build a case against him. We decided to meet in person after both getting tested for COVID-19. When I saw her, it was evident that she was grappling with inner turmoil. Her weary eyes and flushed cheeks betrayed her lack of sleep and inner turmoil. She wasted no time in apologizing for her role in my wife's indiscretions, expressing genuine remorse for her actions. She shared how the loss of both her child and her former lover had fundamentally changed her. She described feeling profound self-disgust and struggling to find peace, haunted by memories of her ex's reaction upon discovering their affair. Meeting me seemed to be a form of self-flagellation, a way to confront her guilt head-on. Despite knowing the potential repercussions of exposing her former manager's misconduct, she accepted her fate with resignation, acknowledging the gravity of her actions. After hearing my account, she offered another heartfelt apology before departing. Left alone with my thoughts, I made my way to our former home to retrieve some belongings, hoping to avoid encountering my wife. Unfortunately, she was there, surrounded by reminders of our past. Our wedding photos laid out on the coffee table, a poignant symbol of what once was. Her tear-stained face reflected the pain of our fractured relationship, yet there was a glimmer of hope in her eyes as she reached out to me. However, I found myself unable to reciprocate her gestures of affection. Her offer of lunch went unanswered as I busied myself with gathering my belongings, eager to leave the painful memories behind. In a surprising turn of events, she showed me a message she had received from her former manager, filled with venomous words and vitriol. It became apparent that my wife had played a pivotal role in exposing his misconduct to the relevant authorities. Despite the hurt and betrayal I felt, seeing her take a stand against injustice stirred conflicting emotions within me. As I left the apartment, I grappled with a whirlwind of emotions, from resentment and anger to compassion and empathy. The road ahead seemed fraught with uncertainty, yet amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged. Perhaps through introspection and forgiveness, we could navigate the turbulent waters of our relationship and emerge stronger on the other side. Only time would tell if our love was resilient enough to withstand the trials that lay ahead. My wife's confrontation with her manager shattered her illusions. He made it clear he had no intention of leaving his fiancée. Their affair was just a temporary fling. This revelation hit my wife hard, triggering suicidal thoughts. Overwhelmed by guilt and regret, she left work feeling sick to her stomach, her mind consumed with thoughts of me and begging for forgiveness. It was a devastating realization for her, that she was just a passing fancy to him. When I questioned her about her feelings, she tearfully confessed that she never stopped loving me. Hearing this only intensified the pain. She acknowledged her foolishness in seeking love elsewhere and expressed deep remorse for her actions. She desperately wanted to reconnect with me, even suggesting we start fresh somewhere new, just the two of us. However, when I mentioned needing time away from my lover to sort through my emotions, she had a breakdown. Clinging to me, she sobbed uncontrollably, unable to accept the possibility of us being apart. With the counsellor's help, she eventually calmed down. The counsellor suggested that time apart might help us heal. However, as we returned home, a distressing video call from a former friend further shook us. It turned out that after my wife resigned, this friend and the manager began a fling of their own. But their affair took a dark turn when the friend had a pregnancy scare. The stress caused her to lose the baby, and she lashed out at the manager, exposing their affair to upper management. This revelation solidified my decision to distance myself from my wife's former friends and the toxic environment they represented. Amidst the chaos, I've been grateful for the support from everyone who reached out to me. Their understanding has helped me navigate this difficult time and reaffirm my commitment to rebuilding my marriage. Looking ahead, I'm taking things one step at a time. Staying in the apartment has given me space to process everything. I'm hopeful that with time and effort, my wife and I can find our way back to each other, rebuilding the trust and love we once shared. Reflecting on the tumultuous events, I've realized the importance of setting boundaries and prioritizing what truly matters in life. While the affair and its aftermath have tested our relationship, they've also highlighted the strength of our bond and our resilience in the face of adversity. Moving forward, I'm committed to fostering open communication and addressing any issues that may arise head-on. I believe that with patience, understanding, and a willingness to work through our challenges together, my wife and I can emerge from this experience stronger than ever. As we navigate this journey of healing and reconciliation, I'm filled with hope for the future and the possibility of rebuilding a happier, healthier marriage. While the road ahead may be challenging, I'm confident that our love and commitment will guide us through, leading us to a brighter tomorrow. He was livid when she revealed the affair, inspired by advice from Chump Lady and marriage builders. She hoped exposing the secret would give us a fighting chance. While I appreciated her courage, it didn't alter my feelings. I decided to halt marriage counseling and focus on individual therapy instead. This decision made her quietly sob, understanding my choice. Feeling emotionally detached from her, I felt the need to address this numbness in solo therapy sessions. Upon my brother's suggestion, I consulted a divorce lawyer as a precautionary measure. Currently, I wasn't ready to fight for our marriage, a sentiment my wife seemed to pick up on. Before I departed, she attempted intimacy, met with my refusal and her ensuing outcry. She demanded to know what my lover offered that she couldn't, what love my lover provided that she lacked. Her voice echoed through our home, undoubtedly reaching the ears of our neighbours. Shaking my head, I explained that if she couldn't discern it by now, our marriage faced serious challenges, and I exited. Your wife is confronting the fallout from her choices. While she wishes she could rewind time, reality doesn't afford such luxuries. Perhaps she can embark on a journey of self-improvement, though it may not involve you, given the damage inflicted upon our current life. Despite this, she will always harbour remorse for her actions. This acknowledgement is more than many receive from their partners. Best of luck to you.